Okay, if you own a camera and have ever been on the internet, chances are you've come across one of these unbelievably cheap telephoto lenses. Like, you can find these things for $80, $70, even sometimes $60 for a 420 to 800 millimeter lens. Some of these even have teleconverters that bump it up to 1600 millimeters. And all throughout the listing, they claim that it's a high performance lens that you can take wildlife photos and sports photos with, astrophotography and things like that. But there's just no way that for less than $80, these provide any sort of decent quality, right? So I'm gonna order one of these things up. We're gonna take a look at it, test it out, and find out if these are even worth $60 or $70, or if they're just complete unusable gimmicks. Let's find out. All right, so this is the lens I picked up. So this is a Gen 2 420 to 800 millimeter f8.3 to 16 super telephoto zoom lens. Now, I picked this up for about $80, and there's some for even less than that, some for a little bit more. But that's such a crazy price for the specs on this. So this is essentially the cheapest 400 to 800 millimeter lens you can get out there. Obviously, it's only manual focus. It doesn't have any electronics in it, but still, that's just a ridiculously cheap price for a 400 to 800 millimeter lens like this. I really don't expect the performance to be great by any means, but if we can get even usable, decent photos and videos coming out of this, I'd be pretty pumped with that, but we'll obviously put this thing to the test. But first up, let's get it out of the box. So it comes with an empty cleaning solution bottle, microfiber towel, it looks like, EOS, so this looks like a Canon mount for this. So probably depending on what mount you buy, it just comes with this adapter basically. All right, operating instructions it looks like. And then we got, of course, the lens in a leather case here. And that's everything in the box. Also, this microfiber kind of feels like cardboard. I really wouldn't trust using this on any sort of glass element or anything like that because it feels pretty rough. All right, let's get this thing out of its leather pouch here. Right off the bat, this feels really light. I mean, I can't imagine any 400 to 800 millimeter reputable branded lens ever weighing this little. Let's get it out of the bag here. Look at that, so they definitely copied the, you know, typical white professional telephoto lens color. It has a 67 millimeter filter thread, it looks like. So there it is, 420 to 800 millimeter super telephoto. All right, before manual focus, please lock this ring. There's a lock and open. Okay, so you probably have to extend it to use the lens. Oh, that's actually how you zoom. So it is a push-pull zoom. That's all the way loosened in it. That feels rough. Like, it's kind of gritty zooming in and out. Not very smooth, but you can lock it, which is kind of cool. So, you know, we can go ahead and just lock it right at 800 millimeters here. And then it looks like focus is this ring right up front here. Okay, that is an extremely long focus throw. All right, I'm gonna throw this EF mount on and then I can toss it on my camera real quick and just see what it looks like actually on a camera, because this is a very, very long lens. All right, EF mount is locked on, and there's a little set screw here you can use to adjust it and rotate it. And you can obviously make sure the mount's locked in the right position so that the lens is straight up and down. All right, let's try to throw this thing on my T7 real quick. Wow, that is a massive lens on this. But the thing is, the lens is so light, it's not even that front heavy. Like, it doesn't feel that bad on the camera. It just obviously looks really ridiculous, but that's obviously all the way at 800 millimeters. So let's bring it down to 420 millimeters. Lock it in. And yeah, this is the shortest it goes right here. Again, it looks crazy, but it's not really that front heavy, even on a little DSLR like the Canon T7. Obviously on like a tiny mirrorless, like an R50, it would be a little bit more front heavy. But there we have it, the $80 420 to 800 millimeter lens. All right, I guess all there's left to do is take this thing to New York City with me, test it out, get a bunch of examples, and we'll find out if this thing's worth picking up. So let's go do that. Unfortunately, I forgot my tripod plate at the hotel, but I'm gonna try to get handheld with this so we can see how it goes handheld. So I'm gonna get the Statue of Liberty here, the kind of the best angle we can at 420, and then we'll move up to 800 millimeters. Obviously manual focus, no stabilization at all, so we'll see what we can do with it. Okay, so I'm at 800 millimeters handheld right now, and like, I really don't know if there's any way you can get a stable video at all, at least. And if anything, you're gonna wanna be at a really high shutter speed if you wanna do anything handheld with this. But the issue with that, it's at f8.3 at 400 millimeters. But then at 800 millimeters, it goes down to f16. So you really need to have a high shutter speed, but that means you're gonna need to bump your ISO up a ton. So I've been shooting at like 6400 ISO, and I probably should go a little higher, to be honest. Okay, I've gotten some use out of this lens over the last few weeks, and I have some thoughts. Also, real quick, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to my channel. It'll really help me to create more videos like this in the future. Now let's get into it. So basically, this lens is pretty fun to use, especially if you don't have this long of a telephoto lens already, you know, 400 to 800 millimeters of reach. But from my experience, this lens is definitely not usable in any sort of practical environments. Whether it's sports photography, nature photography, you know, any sort of moving subjects, or really any photography where there's actual pressure to get usable images. I personally wouldn't even attempt to use this lens in those circumstances. It just has too many limitations, too many downsides that I'm gonna get into in just a minute. I would really only use this just to mess around and have fun with, which in that case, I've actually had quite a bit of fun just doing that with this, just messing around with it basically. Now I'm going to get into all the limitations of this lens and why I just wouldn't use this in any real world environments. But first I want to cover some of the things that actually kind of surprised me about this lens. So first up, in the right circumstances, this lens is actually kind of sharper than I really expected it to be. And so I initially didn't really expect any sort of sharp performance at all out of this, but you can get decently sharp photos. So for example, I took some photos of the Statue of Liberty, mostly handheld because I just completely forgot my tripod mount at the hotel. I actually am fine with the photos coming out of it. Like I would have never ever gotten anything close to that with the rest of the gear I brought with me. This lens is also surprisingly light and portable for what it is. So again, this is at 800 millimeters, but if you bring it down to 420, it definitely still has some length to it, but it's really light and you can pretty much just toss this thing anywhere. And also pairing that with the fact that, I mean, I'm just not as concerned with tossing this thing around as much as I would be with a lens that's hundreds or thousands of dollars from a reputable brand. And it's held up just fine. I mean, it has a couple scuffs and scratches. And besides that, really the only other good thing to mention about this is that you really just can't get anything comparable to this at a similar price point from any sort of reputable brand. Like really the most budget-friendly lens that can do these focal lengths from Canon or from Sony or Nikon or whatever would be hundreds and hundreds of dollars, maybe even thousands of dollars to get something similar to this. Now, obviously, it would probably have stabilization, it would have autofocus, an actual adjustable aperture and stuff like that. But again, if you just don't even plan on buying an expensive telephoto lens, you don't really need one, but you just kind of want to mess around with one, this lens can kind of get the job done. All right, it's finally time to talk about the downsides and limitations of this because there are quite a few. So of course, I've already mentioned this is fully manual. There's no electronics. It's a fixed aperture, manual focus, there's no stabilization, so you'll really need to be comfortable with manual focus, which is even more difficult on such a long focal length like this. Also, I noticed quite a bit of dust and hairs inside of this lens. I don't know if it's just my copy or if all of them are gonna have defects like that. But also it doesn't help that it's such a slow aperture. It kind of makes a lot of that more visible as well, being f8.3 to f16. So I would keep that in mind. I would kind of expect some imperfections, some like dust and stuff inside of the lens like mine has. Again, I really can't confirm if every single one of them will, or if maybe mine has that more extreme than others would, but I definitely noticed a lot of that in my lens. Also, again, it's pretty subpar build quality, and this zoom locking mechanism isn't really the best. I mean, I have this locked right now, and I can still zoom in and out. I have it tightened up pretty good. So it's just overall kind of janky. The tripod foot, you can't even slide around. It's kind of locked into this position. You can just rotate it, which is nice, but again, you can't remove it or like slide it forward and backward or anything. It's kind of locked right there. Again, I've already covered this enough by now. The build quality is just very subpar. So I have some photos pulled up and you can see right off the bat all these dust spots, maybe like little hairs that even looks like that are inside the lens here that are pretty visible, especially on like a, you know, solid color surface like the sky. And this is at 800 millimeters where they're going to be the most visible. Then this one here is at 400 millimeters and they're a little bit more hidden. They're a little bit more blurred out. You can kind of see less of them and they're definitely a lot easier to hide at 400 millimeters. So like something like this, you would never really notice them because of just the texture on the surface. But again, on a blank sky like this, they're definitely a lot more noticeable. Then I also noticed there's a ton of chromatic aberration with this lens. It's pretty much visible in every single photo. So you can kind of see all this purple fringing all along here. It's really bad and noticeable, especially in certain circumstances with this lens. So if we go through some of these, again, the sharpness is surprisingly a little better than I expected, but very noticeable chromatic aberration. Again, over here you can see kind of this green fringing along, you know, the edges here. I know there were some where you can notice quite a bit more of the green and purple fringing. Kind of along the water you can see there's some of the purple, some green, kind of all throughout these just highlights or really contrasty areas. But again, these are all straight out of the camera. With some touch-ups, some editing and things like that, you can actually get some pretty decent photos out of this. So I think I've really covered everything there is to know about this lens. Basically, my conclusion is if you're really into photography and you're in the market for a budget telephoto lens to grow with and to get good looking photos with, I would really urge you to save up some more money and look into something else. You can get good quality lenses from Canon, Sony, or even third-party brands depending on your lens mount that might not have quite as much reach as this, but they will be way better for you overall. A lot better build quality, a lot sharper. They'll actually have stabilization, autofocus, decent build quality really. I just really can't recommend this lens for anybody that wants a decent performing lens and that wants good quality photos coming out of it. I really think the only type of person that should look into this lens is someone that's just purely a hobbyist that never really plans on buying or just doesn't need a good telephoto lens, but you just kind of want to mess around with like taking pictures of the moon or, you know, birds or deer in your backyard and things like that just for fun. That's kind of what I've been using this for, and I've had quite a bit of fun with it. At the end of the day, it is pretty fun to have this much reach out of your camera, especially if you don't have anything like this already. But that's it for me. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Is this lens worth 80 bucks? Would you get any sort of use out of this? Either way, that's it for me. I'll see you in the next video.